Yes. Good morning, people. Good afternoon for some and good evening for others. Hope everyone is well. It's the Armoury TV. We're back. It's the mid-season review. I've got a great panel with me. We've got a brand new intro video. It's a passion. The passion. Ooh, to be a gooner at the moment. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Let's get into this.
No one said it was easy. For a while it was touch and go. We've been waiting so long. In our hearts we were strong. Now we're gonna let the whole world know we're back where we belong. We only had a minute, but then we went and did it. We're back where we belong.
Silver Fox, you're a genius. Dear, what a beautiful day. It's Monday morning. I don't think I've been happier on a Monday in a long time. No work's been done this morning. I've literally just been in my phone watching YouTube and the rest of it. So, yeah, let's introduce the panel anyway. I've got Man Who, the guy they call the Silver Fox. How you keeping, brother?
I'm loving life. Loving life. Wait, come on. Do we need to say any more than that? Really? Come on.
It doesn't get
Eddie,
much better.
Eddie, I tell you what, Eddie, I'm sorry. You're proving me wrong. You've answered the call. You the man. You the man, Eddie.
I hear that. We also got James with us.
What's going on, dude?
Yeah, how you keeping? You predicted
Yeah,
it.
man.
Well, you predicted
Wow.
3-0. We got 3-2, but
Yeah, it's fine. I predicted the battering. I just, I got the scoreline wrong. But we moved. 3 points is all that matters. But yeah, man, I'm running off of like 3 hours sleep because I couldn't sleep because of the adrenaline that was going on. But yeah, man, I'm good. I'm just happy we got the 3 points.
I hear that. Brady saying our new intro sounds like an FA Cup final song. Yeah, it definitely does.
Brenny, you disappoint me, bro, because that's from the 1989 league win, mate.
Tony knows his stuff, man. Brenny, you got to answer. See, Brenny is Mr. Quiz as well, isn't he? So you should know that.
I'm disappointed in him, man. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no problem. And also we got back by popular demand, a man like Travis. How you keeping, bro?
Finally, Travis has come back to the Armoury. Let's go, boys.
It's a beautiful day. So yeah, let's just have a quick 1 minute. Obviously, I was on the reaction yesterday, so I'll keep it quiet. But Travis, thoughts on yesterday's performance? What that means going forward for the season? That last minute, 90th minute winner.
For me, it was my favorite game of the season for so many reasons. And it was all about the spirit. And when we went 1-0 down, there was no heads dropping. I just looked at the players immediately. I wish I was there. And I saw them all pointing at each other, saying, come on, let's go from front to back. Let's do this. And everyone was just calm. And what I liked, especially with my favorite part of the whole game, was the last 20 minutes. You felt the pressure. It was like wave after wave after wave. They got pinned back. Luke Shaw looked shook. All of their players looked traumatized every time they saw us running at them. And they got overwhelmed. One of the best informed teams got overwhelmed by us, dominated, dismantled. And I knew the goal was coming. And the winner it just felt sweet. It felt like busting all kind of nuts. It was just the greatest feeling I've had this season. It was incredible. What a performance by the lads. Great by the manager. And I'm so impressed by this team.
Travis, we've missed your energy. We really have. How about yourself, James? Obviously, me and you done a show in the morning. And yeah, you was very confident going into that game. And yeah, rightly so. You are mute, mate.
Unmute yourself.
Great start to the show. Anyway, right. No, I was confident, man. Let's be real, right? We gave them a go from sloppy. I don't know what I was doing personally when I should have came across that claim it, but I dropped the ball, fumbled it. And then Rashford is just on the form of his life right now. I mean, I can't be mad. Partey should be doing better, but I'm just not going to blame at this point. It was just a moment of individual brilliance. It just the ball was in the net before Ramsdale hit the ground when he dived. Like, you don't see many of those goals. So yeah. Apart from that, I mean, I just felt like we suffocated them. Start of the second half, it was just us for 45 minutes. It just was us. And I would have liked us to have been a bit more comfortable. 3-1 is what I felt we were going to do, but then obviously the 3-foot midget scored a header. I don't know how. Somehow he did. And then yeah, man. But if you're going to win a game, surely you want it to be in the dying seconds, right? So there's not much better feeling than that. But
100%.
yeah, man. My statement still stands. United got humbled, embarrassed, and they got taught how to play football today. We were just unlucky with the scoreline, I reckon, because for me, there was one team in the game for 60% of it. So yeah, buzzing.
100%. I love it. I love it. Silver takes on the game.
But I think we need to start it slowly. I don't think we played particularly well at all, especially in that first half. Arteta made some really important changes. We all said in the chat that, Ben White's not having the best game. He's on a yellow card. He had to come off. He was going to get frustrated, and you could just see if he stayed on the pitch, he might have ended up getting a red card. So that was smart move there by Arteta. Game change in the second half. Performances, like individual performance, started coming up. Partey was a bit shaky to start with as well, but he got into the game. Zinchenko was, he's a leader. He absolute leader. And I think you've all seen the highlights with Peter Drury as the commentator.
Yeah.
One word that stuck out for me: moments. Moments, and there were moments in that game that we can look back on if we do win the league, of course, and go, that was the moment. Kind of like when Danny Welbeck scored that late winner against Leicester.
You thought that would be the moment, yeah.
Yeah, but this one, obviously, because of where we are on the table at the moment, Nketiah at the right place at the right time. It was goosebumps, mate. It was just absolute goosebumps. I'm still buzzing now, and I can't stop watching it. I can't stop watching highlights. I can't. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure everyone's doing it. But
no,
that's the kind of game, and it's similar to like Liverpool. I mean, we got the winner quite early on, but yeah, as James said, a late winner against Man United. It don't get any better than that.
100%. I'm in agreement with all of you. It's a different atmosphere at the moment. The energy is there, and again, I think what the 90th minute gives you is that energy boost, isn't it? Like if you win a game 3-2, you win a game, but to do it in the last minute, what that must do for the morale coming into training today, or if they've got a day off today, who knows? But whenever they're next back in training, but even that, you wouldn't even want a day off, would you? You want to be back in, seeing the boys. James said he had a couple of hours sleep from the adrenaline, so I could only imagine what Nketiah is going through right now. Like it must just be cloud nine.
Aren't we? So that I think they would be training, and they're going to be buzzing. They're going to be buzzing.
100%. But right, we're going to get into it. So we're getting our mid-season review. So what we're going to do, we're going to run through month by month what we came up against, how we done, and then we'll get into a couple of other questions later on. So we're going to start in August, way back when Sky knew what they were doing, the Premier League knew what they were doing. After what happened last year when we went to Selhurst Park, they gave us Palace first game of the season Friday night. 2 Fridays season starts for us in a row. The first last year we choked against what's their names now? Brentford. This year Palace away, 2-0 win. Followed up by a convincing 4-2 win against Leicester, then a 3-0 away win to Bournemouth, 2-1 win at home to Fulham, and a home win 2-1 against Aston Villa. Now, I remember going into the start of the season, people were saying really from that fixture list we should be getting maximum points, but again, football's not played on paper. James, I'll come to you first. How do you rate our performances in August?
So we played Crystal Palace, and
2-0 Palace, 4-2 Leicester,
Yeah.
3-0 Bournemouth, 2-1 Fulham, 2-1 Villa.
Standard. I mean, that's what you expect, right? All 5 of those teams, or 4 of those teams, however many we played, 5 I believe, should be winning.
Yeah.
Like reflecting on it now, on where we're at. If you would have asked me this question at the end of August, I probably would have had a different tone, because we'll be like, "Oh my God, we won 5 games in a row. What's going on?" Like, I mean, we're not used to this compared to the season last season when we came 5th. So we were all expecting an improvement on 5th, but we weren't expecting the improvement we've seen. Let's be real. I was excited for the season, but I mean, where we're currently at has blown me away. So as I'm reflecting on it now, based on the standards that we've set for this season, that's what we should be doing. It should be teams that we're coming up against like that. I'm not trying to be rude to any of the teams that we've played or we played in August. Each one of those teams on paper you'd think, look, Arsenal should be getting maximum points from that, and that's what we did. So
Mm.
I'm happy with it. There was good moments in that, especially the Palace game. I felt like where it was one of those where it was a sit in, dig deep, get the result, and that was probably one of the most important fixtures I feel like we've had this season, just because it set the tone for what we've done, and we are capable of going to a hostile atmosphere where the pressure is on us and
Mm-hmm.
actually showing we can handle it. Because the end of last season, when it came down to it, came down to us getting top four or coming fifth. We obviously bottled it. We fell under
Mm.
the pressure of Newcastle. We fell under the pressure of not getting the wins that we needed to, right? And
Yeah.
that's when I felt like, look, there's something that's changed over. You saw it at the beginning of preseason when we went on the US tour, and then when we played Crystal Palace. I felt like there was a shift in mentality, and I believe that is through the additions we made in the summer with Jesus and Zinchenko, and obviously us aging and maturing a little bit. I felt like
Mm.
it's painful that we didn't get Champions League this season, but I felt like it put us in good stead because I don't feel like we would have been the team we are now, because we are such a young team and everyone keeps going, how are they going to handle this? How are they going to handle that? And that Palace fixture, even the Fulham fixture, I felt like really put us in good stead. So, yeah.
100%, 100%. We move on to the next month. We go into September. There's only a few games in September. So we had Manchester United away, which is obviously a 3-1 defeat, our only defeat of the season. And then we went away to Brentford and won 3-0. So Tony, we'll come to you. What's your thoughts on those fixtures? Obviously, there's only two fixtures in that month, but lost to United at first and then the Brentford win.
I mean, look, as disappointing as it is to lose at Man United, there was a few positives we could still take from that game. And we learned a lot from that game as well. There was a bit of naivety from Arteta with his subs. He
Yeah.
learned from that. They look, they showed us we needed to be a bit more concentrated at the back on the counter, and since then, I think we have been. The game, if Martinelli goal stood early on, it could have been a different story. We could have won that game.
Yeah.
Because even now, I still don't think that's a foul on Ericsson. But look, it is what it is. And for me, the most important thing about that result was how we responded. We
Yeah.
went to Brentford, who, by the way, Brentford have been kidding everyone this season, especially with the big six. That we're the only ones that have beaten them. So
Hmm.
it just shows that yeah, how as James said, how this team has matured and are learning from their mistakes. So that was the big thing for me. After that Man United loss, I wanted to see how we responded, and we responded brilliantly. Couldn't ask for anything
Yeah.
better.
Like you're saying, we touched on it a little bit for me. Last season we tended when we lost the game, we ended up losing 2 or 3
That's
or
right.
drawing. We couldn't get a win straight away. So that was the big question: is when Arsenal do eventually lose, can they bounce back? And it was quite good to see us get the win against Brentford. So yeah, if you just talk to us about what do you reckon that proved to everybody in the team, like after that defeat, to come back straight away with a win.
Are you
That's
still
still
talking to me?
you, Tony. Yeah,
Yeah, I just think that they've sat there and we've seen how Arteta manages, and he's got a group of players there that are all listening to him, and
yeah,
and that's the most important thing for me. And yeah, I was going to touch on that. Every time we lost last season, we're going on a 2-3 game losing run,
yeah,
and yeah, and to pick themselves up just like that. And you can include the PSV game as well. I know we didn't have many of our starters on there, but again, they responded there. So it just shows how big of the character in this team and the willingness to work extra hard for their teammates and the manager. So, and you can't ask for any more than that.
yeah. Definitely, definitely. Right, we're going to move on to the big month now, October. And again, questions are getting asked all the time. Oh, they can't keep winning. Oh, what are they going to do when they come against this team? What are they going to do against that team? We come to the big October, obviously leading up to the World Cup. We had Spurs, which was a 3-1 win at home. Liverpool, a 3-2 win at home. Away to Leeds, 1-0 win. A draw with Southampton, 1-1. And then Forest, we played at home and we won 5-0. So that's a big plus in sandwich in that we had European fixtures. And this was really kind of being the big test on the squad. Can we cope with Europe and the Premier League? at the same time, because I think there was, let me see how many European games there were. So we had 4 European games in that month as well. No, tell like 5. 1, 2, 3. So tell like it's 4. 4 European games and 5 Premier League games in one calendar month. Travis, I know you got a lot to dissect there, but I believe you
Yeah.
can do it. The scores are running along the bottom, so you can just keep an eye on it all. I've only got the Premier League ones there, but yeah, talk us through that month there,
So
starting with big
I'm
wins
going to
against Spurs
disagree.
and Liverpool.
I'm not going to do month by month. I'm going to disagree with James somewhat. The first month of August, I thought that the Crystal Palace game set the tone for our entire season. The dominance, the control, the new players, Zinchenko and Jesus, and the amazing instant impact. I thought they were a different level. Second biggest game, I was there at the Fulham game. Fulham game was a game changer. That was when I knew something had changed. We were losing that game, and that atmosphere in the Emirates was the most electrifying I've ever been in maybe 10, 15 years. It was like it was enormous atmosphere. The fans, the players were connected. There was some kind of like symmetry and poetry in motion there, where there was belief from the player, from every person in that game. There was a belief that we haven't had in a long, long time. That's when I knew something was different in the air at that point, and that was amazing. The Man United game, 3-1, was one of the biggest results we needed. You learn more from defeats than you do in victories, and we needed that. We needed that for the team to realize it's not going to be plain sailing. We can't just play the way we want to play. We're going to have to adapt and maneuver and evolve to succeed in this league. Because this league, there's no easy games in this league. This league has more parity than it's had in maybe 20 years. There's no more big giant teams. What used to happen yesteryear was the big teams, Man United, Arsenal used to go and poach the best players from Southampton, Brighton. That doesn't happen anymore. It's all about recruitment and it's all about great management. And the ones who recruit the best and the ones who have the best managers, they rise to the top. Slowly, they rise to the top. And that's why a lot of teams like the Chelsea's, the Liverpool's, the aging, bad recruitment, bad investment, they're going nowhere. But as for October, I thought that's when they defined themselves and put themselves as champions. This is when they really said, you know what, with all the games, because remember, everyone was saying on paper, look at how many games in October. This is madness. This is unfair. They didn't sulk. They didn't moan. They rose to the occasion. And the Liverpool game for me is when I believed. That's when I truly said, we're going to win the Premier League this season. Everyone laughed at me. My Mrs. boyfriend is a Liverpool fan. I said, we're going to win the league this season. It's because the last 20 minutes was similar to what it was yesterday. We were irresistible. We were like a force that could not be stopped. Against Liverpool, we said, we are going to win one way or another, but we are not leaving this game without a victory. And we pounded them for 20 last 20 minutes. And it felt like Liverpool used to do to the other teams, and we dominated them. And the rest of the results, I felt like we expected to win those, but there's no easy games in the Premier League. On paper means absolutely nothing. And that's why I think we'll win it, because we're the most consistent team. And you'll see for the remainder of the season, we will win way more than we lose. I can see City dropping points. I know Man United will drop points. I know Liverpool, everyone else will drop points. But we will win it because we're the most consistent team and the best team in the league.
I love it. I could listen to you all day. You get me going. But yeah, just touch on if you don't mind, just touch on a couple of the other things. Let's talk about the Southampton draw, because that was again another hiccup moment. You know what I mean? We scraped through Leeds. We just scraped through the Leeds game, didn't we? Gabriel almost gave away a penalty in the last minutes.
Yeah.
And they missed the penalty in that game as well, didn't they? I think Bamford missed the penalty. So we scraped the 1-0 win against Leeds, and then a 1-1 draw against Southampton again. We conceded after going ahead. And again, this is where the pundits started to now talk again. Our Arsenal can't continue how they're going. And you said earlier, we learn from mistakes and learn from defeats. And again, do you reckon that Southampton draw was needed to happen to kind of shake the boys up a bit? And 1-0 is not enough. We need to go and score more goals. And then you saw the next game, we hit 5. So do you think, again, that was a bit of a learning curve for us, that 1-0 is a dangerous scoreline?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
All right, we're gonna.
He also learned not to be staring at pigeons by the other teams on the attack.
I forgot about that. Right, let's move on to the next month. So we're going to November. Not as much action in November, just 2 games. James has disappeared, so Silver, you could have this one. Chelsea a 1-0 away win. Wolves a 2-0 away win. That's a sticky. They're not easy games, are they? Not easy games.
And they were both away as well, weren't they? So it's do you know what? It's mad how many away games we played.
I think we played the most away games in the league. We played more.
Yeah.
Well, I think it might be equal now, so we played a home game this weekend. But
yeah, But yeah, I mean, look, even then, no one gave us a chance. They got to go to Stamford Bridge, or they got to go to the Molineux. So, and we answered. Um, and they're two big results as well. I mean, look, no matter what form Chelsea are in, no matter what form Wolves are in, they're tough places to go to, man. And to come out with results is again things champions do. So I can't say any more than that, really.
Yeah. And obviously at this point now we've kind of gone into the World Cup.
Yeah.
We were, I can't remember what the points were, but we were top of the league going into that. Obviously, we was going to be top for Christmas. And I think the points difference we only had 2 games when we come back. So I think it meant we was definitely going to be top on the New Year's. Might be a bit wrong with that, but I'm hoping I'm correct. But what was your thoughts going into the World Cup then, guys? Being top of the league, did you feel? Because again, I feel still teams weren't taking this serious. A lot of opposition fans weren't taking this serious. It was kind of like, we'll see how you cope after if you get an injury, all the rest of it. We heard so much talk. What was your thoughts, Travis, going into the World Cup?
My main concern going into the World Cup was we would win the league if we kept our first 11 fit. And I hate to say it seems a bit harsh, but I was so happy to see Saliba on the bench. I was so happy to see so many of our players that didn't actually, very few started every single World Cup early group games. And that was a benefit to us. Obviously, we got super unlucky with Jesus. Basically, didn't play, came on one game and got injured. But generally, it was quite favorable to us. As far as England went, when we went out of the competition against France, I wasn't sad that Saka, because Saka was so pivotal to what England were doing. He was our best player, in my opinion. So I felt as long as we came back fully fit, the league was there to be won.
Yeah. And again, I think the vibe you got from people at the World Cup is these Arsenal players actually can't wait to get back to Arsenal. Like we saw Xhaka came back straight away. Well, he said straight away, I'm coming back. All of them. I think Tomiyasu is the only one who didn't come straight back. Martinelli got on the plane, came straight back. Saka came back. I think the only one who took a little break was Tomiyasu, but I don't think he was fully fit going into that World Cup anyway.
I think that's what it was. I think it was injury related because he barely played for Japan as well because he wasn't fully fit.
Yeah, he was actually coming off the bench and playing, wasn't he? He wasn't starting, and he's a person who would start every game. You believe in that team, so so you're coming back from the World Cup again. This is where the big scare happened, isn't it? Everyone came back fit, apart from the one we was actually. I think there was 2 we were desperate not to get injuries to, and that was Partey and Jesus, and we put Saka in there as well. And unfortunately, poor Jesus came back injured. So we're coming into December, 2 games, West Ham, a home win, 3-1, and a Brighton away win, 4-2. James, welcome back. We'll come straight to you then, James. Talk to us about those 2 games. Tricky fixtures. We know West Ham haven't been great, but after the World Cup, you don't know what team's going to come back in what form. You would think that break would have done them the world of good. They could have got back in, regrouped, worked on what they need to work on, and start again. But yeah, we managed to we went behind in that game and came back and comfortable 3-1 winners. And then the Brighton game again, another tricky fixture.
Yeah, man. Look, when it's West Ham, I'm always confident of beating them. They seem to be one of the teams that we just, I don't know what it is, over recent periods anyway, that we seem to just get results pretty comfortably.
Especially at the Emirates, yeah.
Yeah, at home at least.
Which is kind of ironic.
Yeah. Definitely. But no, I was, if I'm going to be honest, I've been more impressed on the progress that we've been making over the teams that we haven't been beating recently. And I say recently, past few years, i.e. Leicester, Wolves, Brighton. Southampton are a bogey team for us. I know we haven't beaten Southampton. Yeah, Palace as well, right? So those 5 are fixtures I look for to be like, right, we don't normally do that great against them, or we haven't recently anyway. And if we are trying to aspire to get to where we want to be, then those are the points that we keep dropping that we can't afford to drop and that we need to pick up and we need to get results on. So the performance against West Ham I expected. The performance, I guess, against Brighton, I was more not concerned about because we have been playing well. And yes, it was a fixture that we had just recently come back from the World Cup, as you said. I was looking for us to put in a good performance, like a solid performance, control the game, score goals. And we did that. We were 3-1 at one point and we looked like we were flying. And then obviously they scored and we scored one. I think was it 4-1 or was it 3-1 and then 3-2 and then 4-2? I can't remember which order it was.
I think we went 4-1 then 4-2.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, at that point we were like, okay, look, we're gonna just see the game out, and then it got a bit dicey at the end of that goal that was disallowed for offside. But yeah, I was really impressed with it in the mannerisms that we went out there early doors and we imposed our game. And let's be real, De Zerbi is a great coach. Remember everything that we've seen this season and how high I didn't watch him at Shakhtar, but how highly he was spoken of, not just like by pundits, but his peers. I don't know. I feel like that's a good indication of how good a coach is. I know some people are like, everyone says Frank Lampard's a good coach, but he's not that really. But you can just tell by how people speak about him, and he is regarded as a really, really great coach. And he has got results against some of the bigger teams this season. And for us to do that, really, and it was kind of like the Brentford fixture where we went and we just completely dominated and we just imposed our style of play and we choked them at the first half at least. I know Travis doesn't agree. Let me finish.
I was going to say the first half.
Yeah,
the second half.
Yeah, second half, no. But for the first half of football, yes, I felt like we did really, really, really good. And then we maybe let our foot off the gas a little bit. But at the end of the day, look, if you're going to go to Brighton, you're going to go to Palace, you're going to go to these fixtures that we struggle with, and you're going to say, look, you're going to win 4-2. You're going to be like, all right, okay, cool. And you're going to take it every time. So, yeah, it was more about how we've continued to, maybe not in 90 minutes, as Travis said, but in spells, we've just completely blown teams away. And to do that to Brighton, which we haven't done, it was really good.
And I think the telling point, I think, with these fixtures compared to the Leeds and Southampton earlier in the season is we looked like we were losing control of those games and we were hanging on. When West Ham and Brighton, I still feel we had other gears we could have gone through if we really needed to really push for another one. Like every time Brighton kind of nicked one back, we just went again. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, we started to show real title form. When we get into January, so again, that was another test. When we come back, Arsenal going to be the same Arsenal. All of that malarkey was going on. We showed in December that we're still the same Arsenal that left. We came to now the big three, which everyone was saying, really, this is going to shape our season. Before that, so I think I said I would have took 5 points. But Newcastle 0-0 home draw. And I think, again, sometimes the significance, the importance of that one is Newcastle have got the best defensive record in the league. Couldn't break them down. And I think that was the moment where it said, look, we need some depth. We need some players to come off the bench. And we saw the impact that has in yesterday's game because Trossard was involved in the third goal, heavily involved as well. So, yeah, 0-0 draw against Newcastle, a comfortable 2-0 away win at White Hart Lane, or whatever they call it, Tottenham Stadium, I don't know. Just
the toilet bar.
Yeah, the toilet bar, we call it that. And then a 3-2 win home against United. Silver Fox, talk to us about this January we're having.
Yeah, it's going back to that Newcastle game. It was definitely evident that we needed something. A player to come on and change the game. And if we had signed Trossard before then, it probably would have been a different story. You saw how he come on against Man United. How he's skipping past players. He's getting himself into spaces. He was involved for the winning goal with his pass to Zinchenko. And that's what we were missing against Newcastle. And I think that's when they looked at, okay, we're not going to get Mudryk. I think the whole Trossard thing went on longer than we thought. I think they drew it. Okay, we need another player in there. They've drawn up a list. And Mudryk was probably at the top, and then Trossard was probably after. But look, we didn't lose that game. Last season, we probably would have gone on to lose that game. Newcastle would have had one chance on goal and maybe could have scored it, and we couldn't we couldn't break them down. So I was really pleased with that. Obviously, I was hungry for the win, but like you said, Newcastle, they got a great defensive record for us. They've only lost one game as well, haven't they? So it just shows how far they've come. As for the Spurs game, I mean, I felt like we were, although Spurs had chances and we had to be defensively sound and Ramsdale was man of the match, I always felt we had control of that game. I was never really worried. We killed it off in the second half. In the first half, and they tried, but Ramsdale probably one of his best games of the season for me. And with goalkeepers, you need your goalkeepers to have a game like that. if you're going to go on and win the league. And you remember we signed Petr Cech, and it was he's going to give Arsenal 12 points or whatever. But it never really worked out. And this is what Ramsdale was doing now. Because you go on to yesterday's game, didn't have the best of games for me. It was one great save from was it from
Rashford?
Yeah, from Rashford. And that was it. The goal, the Martinez goal, was his fault. Well, it was between him and Tommy S. It was a lack of communication, but they both got to take responsibility for that. So look, we're winning in different ways, and it's refreshing to see, man. Like, you don't know what kind of Arsenal's going to turn up, but at the same time, you're not worried because we know we can manage these games, and that's exactly what we've done with these games, especially in the last few games since coming back. And Eddie Nketiah has been the man this month and December. He's been look. We're all concerned because can Eddie do the stuff that Gabriel Jesus can do? But he's showing that he can. He can,
and adding goals. I think that's the important thing as well.
He's a better finisher for me than Jesus, for sure. And we're starting to see. Look, people need to put respect on his name now. That's it. After yesterday, people got to look at him differently now. I don't care who you are. You can support Arsenal or not. Because there's still there's still some gooners out there still not even sure about him now, and I don't even understand why. But he has stepped up big time, and I have to say it. If Jesus wants to get back in his team, he's got to fight for his place back, because when he's fit, I don't think he goes straight in. I think Eddie is staked to claim to stay up there. I really do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And again, the beauty of it is you can bring Jesus back in slowly and not rush him. We saw it happen with Partey a few years ago. We threw him back in against Tottenham, and he broke down on the pitch. Like, we can actually manage Jesus a bit better coming back, a bit like we're doing with Smith Rowe. He's just going to get dribs and drabs until he's fully fit, and it's going to bode for obviously touch wood. There's no injuries to Nketiah, but hopefully this will then enable Jesus to come back fully fit and not at 60 or 70%. But yeah, no, it's been a good month. It's been January's been. I think these are big questions answered, weren't they? Is can they do it against the big teams? Can they do it in the derby games? And I think one of the most impressive things about this run is, and this is why people say about our second half performance against Spurs, and I think actually it was one of the better second halves we've played because we managed the game. We easily could have gone out there to hurt Spurs and score 3s and 4s. And what you do, not only do you leave yourself open to a counter attack, you leave yourself vulnerable to Saka or Saliba getting a yellow card. And I think that was the most important thing, because if under a bit of pressure, if Saliba has to make a tackle, and which gets into the yellow card, now we miss him against United. The same as Saka. If we open up and then they counter and Saka pulls back Perisic, it's a yellow card. He doesn't play yesterday. And Man United learnt the hard way against Palace by losing Casemiro. And I think that was why the Spurs game was so important to me, because we didn't play our style of football, but we managed it in a way to say, actually, we're not going to put Saliba or Saka in any potential risky opportunities for them to pick up a yellow card. And if that meant we lost a bit of possession, so be it. But what we're not going to do, we're not going to be expansive, where we have to give away risky fouls, which could lead to bookings. So I feel that was an important second half, and we've done the work in the first half, which enabled us to manage the second, to come out of there with no injuries and no yellow cards. And I think that is probably more important than a 3-0, 4-0, 2-0, 2-1. Like, it was making sure everyone was available for the Man United game. And they managed it well. So yeah, that's it. We're up to halfway through. We're 19 games gone. We've won 16. We've drawn 2. We've lost 1. We scored 45. We conceded 16. The goal difference is 29. And we have 50 points on the table. This is Arsenal's best ever start to a season, or best ever halfway point up to this point, if that makes sense. Can we continue in this vein? Quick 1-minute answers, and then we're going to move on to a few new questions. Silver, can we continue with this run? Obviously, we've got City twice, but we also got Everton twice, so it counterbalances itself. Do you think we can continue?
But now see, how Arsenal went in February and March, But listen, we've answered all the questions, so why not? Why can't we carry on? Simple as that.
100%. 100%. Yourself, James?
Yeah, man. No doubts. Very confident now.
Love it. And Travis?
Yeah, 100%, man.
All right, love it, love it. There's confidence coming from this panel. It's beautiful. Right, let's get into a couple of questions from me to you guys, and this is signify it. Let's go with first of all, who has been your player of the season so far? We'll start with you, Travis.
Okay, for me, this is an easy choice. He's only played 12 games. I don't just think he's the player of the season. I think he's the best player in our team, and he's gone to a complete other level now. And I think it's Zinchenko. I think he's the best player in our team. And as someone who loves football, Zerbi, like my favorite team to watch apart from Arsenal right now is Brighton because I think they play amazing football. Zinchenko has no position. He's playing positionless fullback at the moment. He plays as a DM, as a left mid. He was next to Saka about 4 or 5 times on the right wing yesterday, outside the box next to Saka. He's our left back, by the way. He was playing on the overlap as a left winger. He was playing as a number 10 behind us, Eddie. I've never seen, if you watch his positioning, the way he retains possession, the way he cycles, and his passing, my favorite thing about him, he holds onto the ball and he makes line breaking passes constantly. I've never seen someone do it 5, 6, 7 times a game. And that doesn't show up in the goals and assist numbers. It's the pass before the assist. And he does it like 6 or 7 times a game. And I'm looking at him, I'm saying, oh, the obvious passes to Saka. And he'll do reverse it to Party on a different side. I'm like, whoa, calm down, brother. So I think he's been a stand out for me. And if you guys watch him like for 90 minutes and watch how he passes and the positions he takes up to ensure there's always someone for his teammates to pass to, compared to McTominay on the other side, who hides behind Arsenal players, so he never can receive the ball. Just watch how he receives the ball all the time. He's a genius, like genius levels. One of the best players I've ever seen do what he does.
I love it. Do you know what? Me and you might need to do a stream on Zinchenko. I've got his touch map here. I'm going to try and send it in so we can get that up later. So hopefully we get that in the chat in a minute. Because I echo what you're saying. But we move on to James. Who was your best player so far this season?
He's not been my best player so far in terms of, there's other standout candidates in the team, but for like personal reasons, how much I've defended him against you lot. The Wolves were coming for me, and everyone was like, nah, number, 34 or whatever. 34. We can't say his name anymore. For me, for trying to defend this guy for so long against you guys, it's going to be Xhaka. Look, for real, I didn't expect this. Look, I've known he's a quality footballer. I just felt like he was being utilized wrong. And I didn't, and when I say utilize wrong, I didn't mean just play him as like an advanced 8, so he's just going to bag a load of goals. I didn't see that coming, right? So I'm going to hold my hands up and say, look, Mikel Arteta, whatever you've done is working. But look, for all the criticism he's got, for all the hate that he's gotten, rightfully sometimes, wrongfully sometimes as well, he's just been Mr. Consistent. Like the errors that he used to make when he was deeper in the game, now when he's playing deeper, he's not really there anymore. So he's a lot higher up in the pitch. The silly mistakes, the arguments, the red cards. It's night and day from him. He's just completely transformed into a different player. And whenever now we see him going for a challenge or we see him arguing, for example, right? A season ago, we'd be like, right, this guy's gone. He's off the pitch. Red card. See you later. 10 men. Now we're like, look, I don't even think about that when I see him on the ball or him trying to go in for a tackle. And for me, it's just been, he's just been amazing this season. So that's why at this moment in time, it probably change at the end of the season, but right now, I'm just really enjoying watching him play. So yeah, Granit Xhaka for me.
Fair enough. Silver Fox.
Now listen, we could pick so many different players, and I'm down to 2 now. I've heard you talk, and I agree with what you say about Zinchenko and Xhaka. I'm tied between Saka and Odegaard, but I'm gonna sway towards Martin Odegaard. What that man brings to the team, well, look, we've seen it. We've all talked about it. He's so important. He is so important. I'm not saying Saka isn't by any means, but he gives it his all. If he gives away a sloppy pass, he's running straight back to go get that ball back. He's he's leading by example. You know, I think is he still the top scorer now? Or Saka might have
He,
taken him now.
I've got it here. Hold on, bear me one
is it
second.
Eddie?
Odegaard's top goal scorer of 8. Saka's got 7. Martinelli and Saka both got 7. Jesus 5, Nketiah 4. So this is just Premier League, by the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but like I said, Saka, Odegaard is he didn't really have the best loan spells with us when he first joined, and people questioned about the move, but it's completely changed. You know, people's opinions now. People can actually see what he does, and you know, some of us here have seen it before. What he does, that pre-assist that we often talk about, and he's the one that gets the move, the move going, going forward, and he's so important. I think, if we missed more out of Odegaard and Saka in the game, I probably would say Odegaard because of what he gives you. So yeah, I'll give it to Odegaard. But listen, you can make a case for any player in that team. That's how I feel right now.
Do you know what? Everything you lot have said, I'm like, actually, I can understand why you've gone there. For me, I was going to say Sinchenko, but obviously, Travis, you grabbed him first. So I do think he's highly important. And again, games like yesterday really show how important he is. And like you're saying about the passing, it's the risky passes. Anyone can complete passes if they're safe, but that doesn't open up space. It doesn't create opportunities for other people. He's giving reverse passes or midfield splitting passes, and Xhaka's is sitting in that number 8 position behind the midfield in front of the defense, and he's just giving him acres. And this is why we say I love Cazorla for it, because Cazorla would give the pass to Ozil, which everyone said then Ozil can create magic, and I always use it. You saw Ozil at his best when he had Wiltshire or Cazorla behind him because they were able to find him in the pockets, and Zinchenko is doing that. But with that being said, I'm going to go with Partey as I wouldn't say it's hard. I'm going to give Partey because I think you see how good Partey is when he's not there. I think that's the biggest compliment I can give him. Again, we lost our one game when he wasn't playing, and he just brings something else. He makes us press resistant, and him and Zinchenko in there I haven't seen anyone be able to cope with those two at the moment. It's been unbelievable watching them. So yeah, I'll give it to Partey, and even some of the goals he scored as well. We wasn't expecting some of them finishes he's produced this year. So yeah, for me, I'll give it to Partey.
It was his worst game yesterday of the season.
Yeah, worst game, but still so influential. I know Rashford gave him a little nutmeg, but again, he just controls the game. Like I haven't seen Bruno and Eriksen that quiet. Do you know what I mean? Like there's still there's still there's an aura about Partey, I feel. So yeah, for me, yeah, it's just nice to be having this problem. Normally, it's just one player who like everyone agrees is Saka, or everyone says it's Aubameyang. But to have 4 people and have 4 different opinions, and I don't think anyone can argue about the other person's. And we haven't even called Saka yet. And to me, Saka's probably been the most consistent.
Haven't called Saka. Someone has to say Saka, man.
Someone in the chat, please just say Saka because it's wrong not to. Because he's been brilliant.
What we've done here, the 4 of us, we basically picked our 4 midfielders.
Yeah.
And I'll go as far as saying is that we have got the best midfield in the league. We have.
Yeah, which one? Who knows? But we've got one. We've got him. It could be any of them. But right, let's move on from that. Guys in the chat, just let us know who you feel is our player of the season so far. Let's move into surprise of the season. So this is something that's caught us off guard, like you wasn't expecting. I'll go first, just because it looks like you lot have got to think about this for a little second. You're gonna hate me because I'm gonna call it out. Ben White's been a surprise of the season for me. Start of the season, him at right back, I was not expecting these performances from him. Like for me, it was just a case stopgap. Maybe Cedric starts until Tomiyasu's back, and Ben White's gone in there. And again, yesterday was his worst performance. Whether that's enough for Tomiyasu to get his shirt back, I don't think it is, because I think Ben White's got credit in the bank. But his performances at right back have been, I can't. It doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? How good he's been out there. So. Yeah, for me, that's my surprise of the season. Seeing him at right back and how well he's played it, and Tomiyasu not being able to get back in this starting 11. James, we're going to move to you next. Surprise of the season.
Bro, you took the one I wanted.
Yeah, I know. That's why I took it first. You can take your player of the season because that's a big surprise to me as well.
I'll go with Matt Turner.
Okay.
I'll go with Matt Turner simply because when we signed him, everyone was thinking, including me, never heard of this guy, signed him from the MLS, and I didn't really know what to expect. And my expectations of the MLS, I'm not, again, trying not to be offensive here, but the MLS compared to the European leagues, there's a significant gap. And for me, he's shown that he is a very, very solid keeper from maybe not from the first game that he had, but from that first game after, from the second game throughout his World Cup run. It's nice to know now that you have somebody that is reliable, and I'm not worried as much as I was when, if Ramsdale got injured, for example. I'm perfectly happy for Turner to come in, and I know he's going to do a really, really solid job. His distribution is not as good, but his distribution is a lot better than what I thought it was going to be.
It's better than Leno's as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to go with Matt Turner. I was going to go with Edu. I know he's not a player, but he's impressed me as well. But yeah, I'm going to go with Matt Turner.
I love it. Travis, we'll come to you next.
Okay. My surprise of the season is probably Zinchenko because I didn't realize how good he was. Obviously, I've watched a lot of City games, but I didn't realize how impactful he would be. But I think I have to give it to my boy Eddie, man, because he answers the call, bruh. He answers the blood clot call. I did not think. I'm not gonna lie. Normally, my talent assessment's on point. I asked Tony about Saliba. I'm usually on point with it, but Eddie, I didn't see enough for him to say like he could carry that mantle of what Jesus was doing, But he's gone to another level. I thought, nah, he's too slim. He doesn't hold up the ball well. All the criticisms I had of him last year, it's like a different player. He's more aggressive with the press, holds up the ball really, really well. His finishing is slightly better. Still needs to improve. Reminds me of Andy Cole. Needs about 3 or 4 chances to score. But yeah, he's getting there. He's getting there. So Eddie and Zinchenko, I put them together. They were my surprises of the season.
I love that. He's taken 2 off the table, Silver. So what are you going to go with? You can have the same one as well if you want, if you really want. Because
I was with Ben White because obviously he's made that position his own now. He's driving Cedric out the club. Well, he is, and we've got Tommy Atsu who will be back up to him. Yeah, he had a shaky game yesterday, but every player has their shaky days. But yeah, Ben White would have been mine because I didn't think he would, stay there. I thought he was just there to start with because obviously Tommy has to start with at the start of the season, and he has played right back before. Of course, he has. I mean, he can do a job there, but he's actually made the position his own because he knows he's not getting ahead of Saliba and Gabriel. So I think that's why he's upped his game on that side. And I would have said Eddie as well because, well, I was one of those that was, I'm not too sure, but he should be right up. And as a fan, that's what you want. So if you want me to give you a different one, let's just say Reece Nelson when he came on against Nottingham.
I like it. Yeah, I didn't have Eddie as my surprise because I knew he had it in him. I was behind him all the way. I took some flack, Travis, of these lot for years about Eddie, and I'm just glad he's showing what he can be. My thing always was Aubameyang wasn't scoring and he's a Golden Boot winner. Lacazette was struggling. He's won titles in France and whatever. So if this 19-year-old kid's struggling, 20-year-old kid, the main men are struggling. So I can't say he's a bad player. We're just not playing a good system. And since we fixed it, you've seen a difference in him and Xhaka. Both of them, their levels have risen because the system is working now. Do you know what I mean? I think we was broken before. So yeah, good for him. Right.
It's giving you right vibes.
Right, yeah, I've got to go, man.
All right, Travis, appreciate you.
Pleasure, man. Link up soon.
100%. Let's speak soon. Right, we've got a couple more questions to get through before we bounce. Let's go with signing of the season so far. James, you can go first. Actually, no, Tony, you can go first because James went first or earlier than you last time. So
Zinchenko for me. All day long.
I think that's changed over the last few weeks. Because, well, James, you go first and we'll talk about that.
James, go on.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you know who I'm going to say. But it's going to be Jesus. That's why, and I agree with what you said. It's been changing. It will probably change again throughout. It's just what Jesus. I felt like maybe it was Zinchenko as well. I could be wrong. We're now seeing the effects Zinchenko is having on the team because he's having a consistent run of games, and earlier on he was injured. and he was in and out of the team. Same with Jesus now being out. I feel like it's recency bias, and we all have it, but it's not as strong as we normally do at this point. But when Jesus is fit and firing, we're like, yeah, he's the best striker in the league at points, right? And now we're saying to Zinchenko's the best player in our team. Like they're both. I feel like either or, as Tony said, Zinchenko, me saying Jesus.
I agree. I think what it comes down to, I think we never had an issue with Tierney. And I think this is the thing, we all knew we needed a striker. So once both come in, and it was like we could see the difference Jesus is making, whereas you couldn't really see it with Zinchenko at first because if Tierney was fit, we'd never had a problem at left back. But I think the more time's gone on, I think maybe even Zinchenko being out of the team every now and again, because up to recently, people were still trying to say Tierney should be the starting left back. And I think it's only since Jesus has gone out and actually you've seen our level hasn't dropped, and now you're starting to appreciate what Zinchenko's doing, because once he's missing, you see the drop off when other people play in there. And I think that's why Zinchenko now people are really starting to see what he brings to this team. For me, signing so far, I've got to go. I don't think you can split them two. I think everything they bring, not just on the pitch, but it's off the pitch. We've seen Zinchenko getting warned by the FA for his celebrations when he was injured. I see Jesus lifted up players with a bad knee yesterday. I'm thinking, put him down. Do not delay your recovery. So both of them, what they're bringing on and off the pitch, I think you can't split them. I think both of them have brought something really special and unique. And yeah, it's long may it continue. Thank you, Pep Guardiola. That's all I've got to say. Thank you, Pep. So yeah, I can't.
Honorable mention, Saliba, because he feels like one.
Yeah, he's another. Yeah, I know he's not a new signing, but definitely he's had an impact as well, hasn't he? All right, let's get into. Before we get into the manager, let's have our best moment so far this season. Silver Fox, you can go first. Best moment so far this season.
It's yesterday for me. It's yesterday for me. I mean, like I said, we've had so many good moments this season, but nothing like I said earlier at the top of the show, nothing like a late winner against Man United. I mean, I'm still replaying it in my head now. I'm buzzing. It's just I don't need to say anymore, do I? Really? I mean, it's as simple as that.
No, 100%. James.
Thomas Partey screamer versus Spurs.
Tottenham. Yeah.
Ooh, nice, like that one.
Yeah. Yesterday has to be up there, to be honest with you, for me. But I'm gonna give it to Martinelli putting that flag on the camera at White Hart Lane.
Oh, yeah.
That to me is just do you know what I mean? Because for so many years, it's people doing stuff in our backyard and disrespecting us, and it was just beautiful to watch him do it. And then he's pointing at his three players, saying, "Look what I've done." Like again, it's just that this isn't. You know, when you see these players play for their country, there's a passion and a love for their country. You don't always see it with people's club sides. You know what I mean? And there's something about how these lot are looking at Arsenal at the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? It's that pride. They're prideful that Arsenal are the best team in London right now. They're prideful that Arsenal are the best team in North London. We've done a double over Spurs. There's that pride behind it. And yeah, it feels like the connection with the fans and stuff. Like, I think I'll give it to that. I think that's a flagship moment. Do you know what I mean? That's one of them images we're going to see for years to come. Like, do you know what I mean? Years down the line, that will be an image you'll see is the scarf, that red and white scarf in Tottenham Stadium. It's brilliant. So yeah, I'll take that one for me. But I can't argue with both yours either. Partey screamer and Eddie Nketiah's last minute goal yesterday it's just brilliant. I'm waiting for Premier League history in years to come. Watching back this season, it's going to be great. And if only they've done the Prime documentary this year, isn't it? Like, could you imagine? Could you imagine? But right, let's move on. We're going to get into our manager, Mikel Arteta. So first of all, give me a score and then give us your sum of Arteta this season. And James, you can go first.
10. I mean, it's a record most amount of points. We're on target to have 100 points for the end of the season. Again, disclaimer, I'm not saying we are, but we played half of the games and we got 50 points. The only games that I've had quarrel with him, Jesus, that's a hard word to say for me, is the United game when we went all out. That's the only thing. and I feel like that has taught him so much this season. So yeah, 10.
Silver Fox.
9. He only gets a 10 when he wins something.
Ooh. But it's the season so far. He can't win anything just yet.
I know. But we're halfway through the season. 9. I'm taking this 9, and I will score him down for that Man United game away. I will as well, because that for me, no, that kind of cost us the game. I really do believe that, because we were still in it. So 9. Come back in May. Hopefully, I do give him a 10, maybe 100.
I love it. I'm going to agree with James. I think he deserves a 10. I understand what you're saying. He maybe made a bad decision that one, but actually, on the flip side, he went for it. Do you know what I mean? I can't fault him for going for it. Like, I'd much rather than that. Then he tries to shut up shop, go 5 at the back, and then we concede. Another day, we win that game. We dominated that game, had full control, and it was just we got caught. But for me, it's not only where he's put us position-wise, the transfer policy, the belief, but most importantly, the football we're playing. For me, you all know me, I like to watch good football. Like, winning a trophy, yeah, I'll take it. Playing ugly, so I'll take the FA Cup win happily. But you want to see Arsenal playing football the Arsenal way, and he's brought that back. And the connection between the fans and the players, I've never seen anything like it. Going 1-0 down yesterday, we don't panic. We get back up. The crowd starts getting behind the team. Like, the philosophy doesn't change, and we just keep knocking on the door. There was a stat came out yesterday that United, every time United are taking a lead in the game, they haven't lost. I think they've drawn 6 maybe and won a silly amount 9. It was something crazy, or drawn 3, something like that, but they hadn't lost. So to come back from that and just make it look easy, it was like do you know what I mean? It wasn't. We never looked stressed really. It was just comfortable.
Didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So the style of play, doing it with the youngest team in the Premier League. Yeah, I can't speak highly of this guy enough, to be fair. So yeah, he's got to get a 10 for me. Yeah, he's been unbelievable. And again, hopefully it does end in a trophy. It does. If it ends without a trophy, it'll be frustrating. But yeah, I can't say enough about him, what he's done. He's really brought Arsenal back. Do you know what I mean? You think back to where it was like when Emery was there, when he first came, like, to see where it is now. He's transformed this club, the fan base. There's a connection. I saw Riziki was at the stadium yesterday. Wenger's come back. It's just these little things. Cesc Fabregas is there coaching. Like, just, do you know what I mean? He's just bringing something back, and it's great to see. So
I think the thing with Arteta as well is the All or Nothing documentary was a real eye opener for many people. We got to see, what he's like as a coach, and now we've seen that, we kind of know what he's doing. When he's bringing the team in at half time, you already know what kind of conversation he's having.
Yeah. And I think it took some of the pressure off him, didn't it? Because sometimes we're quick to blame a manager when something goes wrong.
That's
And
right.
I think what the documentary gives you is he's given the tools and the players haven't followed it. And I think you saw Xhaka speak about it, saying he set us up correctly and we actually failed as such. We didn't carry out what he told us to do. And actually he predicted this would happen if we don't do this, and it happened. So sometimes the players have to take some responsibility. And yeah, I think that's what that gave him. It brought him a bit of time to think actually he does, because so much of what we're saying, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's a young manager. There was so much of that. He's Pep's coach. What is he? Pep's cone picker up, or whatever they used to call him. But actually, I think that showed that he does know what he's talking about, and he's got the credentials. So yeah, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. Mr. Greenamash saying your defense is in trouble. Yeah, because Nketiah is on the pitch, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, it's long may it continue. Long may it continue. What's your predictions now going forward? Points total. Do you think we can win the league, James? Do you think it's?
Yeah.
Again, I think I was looking at the 2 City games, isn't it? There's 6 points to play for in them games.
Yeah. I mean, our next? We've got obviously City in the cup, and then we have Everton, Brentford before we play City at home, and then after that we have a run of 6 games that I expect 4 points from. So I think if we win the City game at home, we win the league. That's where I'm at. Because I predicted at the start of the season we'd lose max 5 games, and I said 2 against Liverpool, 1 against City, I said 1 against United, and I said 1 against Spurs. We lost the
Right.
game at United. We didn't lose the game at Liverpool that I thought we were going to, and we didn't lose the Spurs game.
Mm.
So in contention, I think that leaves us with 2 more losses.
Yeah.
From what I predicted, that's Liverpool away, City away.
Yeah, we're on course. What about you, Silver Fox? Do you think it's doable? There's still 19 games to go. It's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games, a lot of points. I think I'm with James. I think we can go on and win the league. I think we will go on and win the league. I think we'll cancel each other out, Arsenal, City, whether we win at our place and they beat us at their place, or if we draw both. And then look, we're still ahead of them, aren't we? So, and they're dropping points in places you don't expect. So, and I still expect them to. I honestly think they're going to push for the Champions League this season. When the Champions League starts up, you're going to see them drop more points. You can say the same about us with the Europa, but I at the moment, look, I'm saying we're going to win. I think we can win the league. I really do.
Yeah.
And I'd tell you what would be special about us winning the league is there's a story everywhere. There is a story. You go to Arteta, 8th, 5th finishes. Then he does that. Then you got like Ramsdale relegated twice, wins the league. You got the Saliba situation where he's only just come in this season, his first full season at Arsenal. Gabriel's had a few bozo moments, but he's upped his game. Tomiyasu, Tommy Who, Zinchenko and Zeus. Well, look, they were unsung at Man City, and imagine they come to us and win the league. They're going to be heroes. I can go on. I can go Odegaard, how Real Madrid didn't want him, and you can talk about Nketiah. There's stories all over the place. Saka, from boy to man, we've seen this season. From when he missed a penalty for England in the final Euros to Premier League champion. There's stories all over the place.
Yeah.
It would just be magical. That's what I'm going to say about that.
I think the biggest story as well, I think it's Granit Xhaka, isn't it? If he ends up winning that Premier League, it's gone from the guy who never helped us qualify for Champions League to being in one of the most important parts of this team, going on to win the league. He played every game this season so far. I don't even think he's even come off in many matches. You know what I mean? Him and Gabriel probably got like the most minutes in the Premier League for Arsenal. So, yeah,
this is the Xhaka we signed. This is the Xhaka we signed.
Yeah, we thought we was getting 100%. But yeah, right, guys, it's been a great show. People, if you're in the chat, please make sure you keep liking, commenting, subscribing. If you get towards the end of the show, if you're rewatching it, please put your suggestions for best player, signing of the season, surprise of the season, your score for Arteta, and your best moment. Please keep adding that stuff. And yeah, some of them from the Armoury, we get back in the chats after we have conversations with you guys. So yeah, put your comments in. We'd like to hear them. We'll also, let's take that to Twitter as well, Tony. If you want, we can, we put a few polls up or something like that, maybe, and people could vote on what we've said, like who our best players are, and whatever it is, we could do something like that. Big up X Cool TV. Big up yourself. What a time to be an Arsenal fan. It's beautiful. And do you know what? We're going to end it, Tony. We're not going to put the outro. We're going to play the new intro, all right? Because I think it just sums it up perfectly. I just want to see Zinchenko screaming like that. I love it. I love this guy. But yeah, for us, James, Silver Fox, and myself, Gumsa, we out of here. Have a blessed day.
No one said it.